Good morning, everyone. It is January the 20th, 2016, and we awaken this morning with treasuries and gold higher, the euro sideways, and crude has just made new lows. Lows has been since 2003, and the E-mini is flirting with support in the 1830 area. Only a big factor or dynamic that I could see that could support the stock market today would be Fed intervention, and they're certainly capable of doing that. IBM made its projected earnings per share numbers by cutting their projected tax rate from 22.5% to 12.5%. The Fortune 500 has so many ways to meet earnings per share forecasts. They can manipulate, they can change the assumptions, they can do one-offs, they can revalue up, they can revalue down. And because our government wants the stock market to be higher, it's really easy to get away with that if they fall on the side of overestimating what their company's actually doing. So IBM's numbers, when you looked at the real numbers, weren't very rosy. So, China added $91 billion direct market support. They cut their interest rates to 275. Didn't do any good. Asia collective is off 9.5% overnight. Europe collectively is off 9.4% overnight. And when I took the numbers this morning, the E-mini was off 37 points. So, the selling continues. The techies said yesterday if we close below 1867, headed much lower. We'll see how that works today. The preceding low was, I believe, 1830, 1831 in the E-mini. We'll see how that works. It holds up today. The E-mini sells. The note and the bond are going to rally. Now, we know that a lot of the excess is absorbed overnight. I mean, prices just get so high or so low that people will come in and sell it, but it moves pretty quickly. The knob spread expanded about a point overnight. We have traded to 129 after a close yesterday in the 10-year at 12.5, 28, 12.5. So this market is going to trade higher if the E-mini continues to sell. If the E-mini finds buyers today, then this market can set back probably into the 128.16, 128.20 area. So first support is going to be 24 to 28. It's going to be our first buy area. Second buy area is going to be 17 to 21. The sell zone is going to be 29, 29.04. That's where resistance is. And then 7 to 11 for sell 2. Today's news, CPI. Unchanged at 0. No increase. Core plus 0.2. Housing starts plus 1.2 million. That number could come in lower. I don't see how it could be that high, but there's a lot of statistical spoofing done with these numbers too. And permanent's 1.217. Now, if these numbers do come in as forecast or a little higher than forecast, people will look at the multifamily. And remember, banks, they run from one side of the boat to the other. We're starting to learn that there's $320 billion worth of debt that has been taken on by the oil sector. And why was it taken on? Because oil prices were high. They were going to stay high. The bank down the street was lending to oil people. The big banks in New York City were wanting big loans put together. They would come in and do that, so it's okay to lend to the oil companies, and lend they did. Right now in the real estate market, it's okay to lend to multifamily developers, and that's what's getting built. People do what everybody else are doing. It's just the way that we're wired. Can't help it. And a great deal of our success is based on we know what the expected behavior is. If we get the expected behavior, we trade with the expected behavior. If we don't get the expected behavior, we fade it. And it's a pretty simple model, and it's pretty reliable. Why? Because the one constant that we deal with in the market is that people are hardwired in a certain way, and that won't change quickly. Okay, last rotate up stopped at 27.28, so this 28 area. That's where resistance starts. Obviously it ends at 161.09. So selling failure to take out 161, 161.04. As always, we do not want to be short treasuries if the E-mini is selling. Last rotate down stopped at 16, so 13 to 17 buy one. Bust that, the London low is 01. Beneath that is 30, so the buck to 04 would be buy two. 160 is a pretty round number if you think about it. Don't think too hard about it, but one of the things that we need to learn how to minimize in trading is overthinking. That leads to hesitation and missed trades. Because the bottom line is we are trading probabilities, and those probabilities will make us money over time, but it's not 100% certain or sure. We said as long as the stock market was selling, we did not want to be short gold. We liked the long side, and that's pretty much the way it's turned out. So the breakout came at 98. We're at 1102 right now. So this 98 to 95 area will be buy one. Then 90.92. All down to what the E-mini does today. Sell zone 4 to 6. Against this high volume number up here. Then 9 to 11 for sell 2. Okay, the euro wasn't as strong as you would expect it to be given what's going on in the Chinese currencies and the direct intervention by China and their equity markets last night. But you know, before this is over, governments are going to own their Sallie Mae paper. They're going to own bad debts of their banks. They're going to own automobile collateralized debt obligations. They're going to own everything. And you know, you wonder how insurance companies and banks and the government end up owning all the property over time. It's in moments like this. So why not? You know, we're printing money for the federal government. We might as well pick all this stuff up, and over 5, 10, 15 years we'll own more assets. Not the best way to run things, but it's where we find ourselves these days. Okay, the euro. 110 basically held again. They didn't even challenge it. They got short in front of it in London. So the London high is 109.92. We're currently back to 109.20. So we're in our 109, 109.10 is buy one. 875 buy two. On the sell side, 95. Oof, 95. I'll say 94, 96, sell one. 99, 110 even, sell two. I think it's interesting that the direct Chinese intervention didn't take this market higher. But that's where we find ourselves. Okay, crude oil. Forex has it showing a build of 3.3 million barrels, but those numbers will not be released until tomorrow. They're not going to be released today. So their calendar grunt over there blew it. Okay, crude oil's made new lows. We said when we broke 30, 27.50 was coming next. We're at 28.50. We are pointed lower. You can see we've got a pretty clean break in the market at 29. So 29, 29 and a quarter. Sell one. 50 to 75, sell two. On the buy side, it is support. I think we're headed a little bit lower, so we'll go 28, 28 and a quarter. May have to pay 50s, but it looks like it's pointed lower than 27.50. Take out 27.50, 25 bucks is coming. So we have been on top of the crude oil market. Played it well. And looking at the E-mini, okay, the first time into an area, we expect the market to bounce. So they got stops beneath that low right there, and the market has come back. We're about 8 points off the lows. 7 or 8 points. We've got this low at 48.5. From if you're a chartist, so selling 48s, 48 and a quarter is where the chartist will be. Then if we break through that, maybe as high as 19.10. So the market is selling, and it's selling for the right reasons. The fundamentals stink. And the end of the year window dressing is out of the way, and institutions can do what they normally do, and we'll be reading articles for a while on how bad this year started out for equities. So first sell zone currently at 38.75. Last rotate up stopped at 42. We've got the high at 46. So like to sell the 45 to 50 area right up in here, so we'll get started that way, 45 to 50 on the idea, a little bit of short covering, but it might take 40s, 42s right here. We'll put a question mark at that point, and 55 to 60 for sell 2. On the buy side, stops below the overnight session low. We've rejected prices below 35, stops below the overnight session low, so 31 to 29, buy 1. Bust that 20 to 25. So things are looking pretty grim for the stock market. Okay, it's going to take a bit to get everything up and posted. I'm going to get busy with that. I will be back with you as soon as possible.